What's up, Waves? Today I'm joined by someone who doesn't even need an introduction. The man, the myth, the legend, Marv Dunphy. What's up, Marv? How's it going?
Good morning, Morgan. Good morning.
Where are you today?
I just left Malibu, and I'm running some errands, and I stopped by Coach David Hunt's house, and mostly to see Spud, his famous bulldog.
Okay, so first question I kind of have for you. I got some of these. I kind of polled people to see what they wanted to know from Marv Dunphy. So the first one is, can you tell me where the secret spot is?
You know what? I know where that came from, but we try to keep that secret. Otherwise, we're talking about a place to eat where you can park right next to the restaurant. And, yeah, so it's right along the coast,
But I know where one of them is, so you don't have to tell a lot of people. Don't have to ruin it.
There are two or three, and yeah, they're pretty classic. One that is, without giving away too much, is tailgating on old Malibu Road where there's a break, and just awesome. You go to Ralph's, and then in a couple hundred feet, you're on the ocean, and yeah, so that tailgating
Nice.
is one of the secret spots. Yeah, well, you know what? There's not. You go downtown Malibu. Malibu is still a sleepy little town, and but you go downtown Malibu, and you take your credit card because it's kind of steep, but also parking is always I don't know.
Next question. I've been told I should ask about the Marvs Dead story about you living in Topanga Canyon.
I'll try to make this short. We were back then, so I'm a 40s guy. So back then it was like, when Friday came, you just wandered into the mountain and said, hey, we'll see you on Sunday. And but one of the deals, there was this kind of a dry waterfall, maybe probably 40 feet, 30 or 40 feet. And we're rolling rocks to see them roll down the face of the waterfall, and who can roll the biggest rock. So I pulled on this rock, and it broke, and I went out and I hit on the face, and so I went about 40 feet, and then there's 3 or 4 of us, and so I'm out cold, right? And we're back in the sticks, and my buddies came down and checked me out, and I was out, so they all ran to their own homes, yelling, "Marv's dead, Marv's dead." And so that was interesting. And I remember I came to probably, I don't know how much time later, and to the guy that had carried me out of the hills was in a little bit of a tug of war with a neighbor that wanted to carry me the last 100 yards or something like that.
Oh, no.
And yeah, but I don't know, maybe that started my fear of heights. I'm not very good when I'm up high.
The word gratitude is kind of big with you guys. Like, you've kind of passed it down to all of your teams, and obviously David uses it too. So tell me about that, like the backstory behind gratitude and why it's such a big deal for you guys.
I think I've been pretty good along the way of sharing the wealth. In other words, sometimes coaches get way too much credit for, especially when things go well, like, hey, there's some magic going on, or here's a special person, and they had this little retirement event for me a few years ago. I just had 500 of these shirts made up. It says gratitude, and it's thanking people for being part of my journey and helping.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I've also heard, like, with that, you said, like, fellow coaches and people that have influenced you. I heard that you got to spend quite a bit of time around John Wooden.
Yeah, really cool. Lucky. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was for my dissertation for my doctorate, and without giving the whole backstory, the coursework was fine, but I couldn't get going on a topic for my dissertation where A is better than B, something like that. And then I met with the chair of the department, and he goes, hey, what would you really want to know? And I said, I want to know how the great coaches coached. And so we said, hey, John Wooden would be a great candidate. And I'd met him one time, and but I couldn't just call him up and say, "Hey, John, this is Marv," right? I had a big long introduction, and I didn't want him to say yes or no until I fully explained everything. And finally, when I was done, I paused, and he said, "Marv, I'm honored that someone like you would want to do this on me." And I just started floating, and
That's so cool.
yeah, I just, yeah, what a great man. And I've said this before. Sometimes when you get closer to people, you realize it's something else. It's the personnel, it's the location, it's the whatever. And the more I was with him, interviewing him, the more I realized not only that I was in the presence of greatness, it just, in my opinion, there's nobody greater, in our field, and pretty lucky. I think it was maybe end of day one or day two. We agreed to talk from 9 to 3, right? And I did that for 4 or 5 days, and it got to where everything he said, my first response was, "That's going to be on my wall. That's going to be on my wall."
What is the favorite or your favorite country that you have visited?
Small town USA.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I've been to, somebody counted them up. I've been to 44 countries or something like that. And the players always liked, Japan or, France or whatever. But I liked Cuba, Russia, Brazil, where it was rough and it was us against them. So if I had to pick a country other than small town USA, it'd probably be maybe Russia, because it was, or Cuba, because Cuba was good, we were good, and it was a real battle. But small town USA, when I coached the USA team as a head coach, we played about 90 matches a year, and half of those were in the US. We were year round, and we would go to Montana and we'd play in Helena and Bozeman and Billings and Bus, and quite often there would be, if we got to a place that the red carpet was there and it was like some sort of neat welcoming music, small town USA. And, it's different than the Olympic Games. It's different than playing in Madison Square Garden or the Staples Center. And I always thought that was great.
What was your favorite Olympics, or like what year?
You know what, I for China, when I was helping Hugh McCutcheon, maybe some people don't know, a tragic thing happened just prior to the start of that games, where his mother-in-law and father-in-law were stabbed, and his father-in-law died. So Hugh, the head coach, had to be with his family, and so I was going to be like the spy, and then all of a sudden I was on to the bench, and we went undefeated and won a gold medal. But it was, I guess the word favorite doesn't fit, but it was, we were tested, and it was
meant a lot to you.
It was tough. It was special, and that will always be with me.
Okay, so next question. If you could bring one former Pepperdine player to a deserted island, who would you bring?
Rod Wild is born and raised in the Midwest, and he could catch a rabbit, bare handed. So he would be, I'd consider that. Probably George Romaine, because he was the biggest, baddest guy in the jungle. And I would not be afraid if I was with George. I mean, there could be 500-pound gorilla, and George would take that sucker down. And, I'd probably go with George.
Okay, next question is the weirdest moment you've ever experienced in a game.
I got one.
Okay,
we're playing the Russians in the USA Cup in Madison Square Garden, and it was 1984, probably 85. I'm sorry, and so there was some protests going on because the Cold War was still just ending, and so I glanced to my right halfway through the first set, and I see two guys come out of the stands going towards the bench of the Russians. And within 5 seconds, New York's finest took them down and just,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, grabbed them because who knows what if they're up to no good. And he just bounced this guy face first on the concrete, and he was out of there. And
Oh my God.
you had to be kind of looking. It wasn't a big incident. It lasted all of 12 seconds.
So, what is your favorite Marvism?
One of the things that I've told them all along the way, and when this virus hit, a lot of them checked in because we never had exchangeable parts, right? We interchangeable parts. We pretty much needed, if we had 7 good guys, we needed all 7 of them. So I was pretty big on, hey, wash your hands. And so I heard a lot of that when the virus kicked in. They said to wash your hands. They said, hey, we were ahead of the curve. We were doing that in the 70s.
Waves up. Yeah, there you go.
Waves, meal prepping has become a popular way to stay on track with your nutrition goals. Enjoy fresh, delicious, and affordable healthy food made just for you. Visit eatnakedla.com to get started today.